So, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on such short notice. I'm Cher Hovland. I'm the Deputy Executive Director for the Department of Labor and Employment. And joining me today is Zach Hope. He's the manager of the Petroleum Storage Tank Program in the Colorado Division of Oil and Public Safety, housed within the Department of Labor and Employment. So, as you all know, we have been working on what appears to have been a contamination at select retailers of fuel that started coming in as reports to us yesterday. And in a second here, I'll kick it over to Zach to fill in some of the specifics. But here's what we know as of today, that a delivery from a supplier of regular unleaded fuel to select retailers in the Denver metro was contaminated with diesel fuel. The division became aware of this through consumer complaints into our consumer line. As of right now, we've received just over 200 complaints as of yesterday about the suspected contamination, with consumers reporting engine operational issues. So, could be that an engine just completely stopped working or performing or just gradually stalled out. Regardless, when we received our first consumer complaint, we sent an inspector to a gas station in the Denver metro area. The inspector did take a sample, was able to identify just through visual inspection that in fact it was a diesel contamination, and that is because of the color of the fuel, which means we didn't actually have to take that sample to our testing lab. So the inspector was able to confirm that in fact it was diesel. After that point, we began to get in touch with our various industry partners and identify when the contamination was confined to. And we believe it was confined to the hours of around 2 p.m. on Wednesday until about 6 a.m. on Thursday, yesterday morning. And right now, what we know is that somewhere between 24 and 36 hours from now, we believe all of the contamination at the fuel pumps should be remediated. And the call to action for consumers is to contact the retailer, the point of purchase retailer, notify them of the suspected contamination, and more information will be coming out through the supplier and the retailers. The Division of Oil and Public Safety today did send out a communication to about 3,000 gas station owners across the state, even though we do believe it's contained to the Denver metro area, but notifying them that we are aware of the contamination and outlining the steps to date. We also have a web alert that was posted on the division's homepage at ops.colorado.gov. And with that, I will kick it over to Zach to fill in any of the details that I have left out. Zach.
Sure. Thanks, Cher. I think that covers a lot of it. We have confirmed this diesel contamination in regular unleaded gasoline at a number of locations along the Front Range so far. Got a number of inspectors out today collecting further samples to determine the scope. I think a common question right now is, where did all this fuel go? What locations? And we're working with the Sinclair, the origin of this fuel, to get that list published, and look forward to more details on that and their investigation of really what happened to cause this fuel mix-up at their terminal location to begin with. And so again, for consumers, if you purchased regular unleaded gasoline in Colorado after Wednesday afternoon, it would be again wise to determine where you bought that. Especially if you're having any engine or car related issues, get in touch with that point of sale, the gas station. That gas station will be the place consumers go to seek claims for the damages. And that process is the normal process for fuel quality concerns, just usually not on this scale. But that gas station based point of contact would be where to start for consumers. Um, I think that is probably a lot of the info we have shared. Do we want to open it up for questions, or what do we want to do here?
Sure, Zach. I will just note that the division's role is to inspect every gas pump in the state of Colorado for fuel quality and accuracy. And the division can be contacted. There's a sticker on every gas pump in the state with the division's contact information. So that is the best way for consumers to report a concern directly through that phone number listed on the sticker on every gas pump. With that, I will pause and happy to take any questions by chat, or if you just want to raise your hand and come off mute.
This is Jennifer Brockman. I'm with Fox 31. I wondered if you could tell me, is there a civil penalty or any kind of penalties that the people that distributed this gas might face, or would it be up to each driver to pursue any damages? How does that work?
Sherry, you want me to take that one? Yeah. For claims for damages to vehicles, certainly consumers need to, again, go to that point of sale, the gas station, and start that process there. Most of these gas stations have already been aligning consumers with their claims process. So that's the immediate and important factor for consumers. But we are still, as a state entity, considering our options for monetary penalties due to following enforcement. It is unlikely at this point that we would pursue that, given our belief that this was a not so much an act of negligence or even intentional decisions that led to this, but certainly some kind of accidental mix-up that most definitely does not benefit the supplier. And so it doesn't seem like it was done with an intent to defraud consumers. That's a major factor for us when we're looking at fines or enforcement for fuel quality issues. And so, all that being said, right now, no, we haven't issued any fines or official enforcement action. We'll really need to see cooperation and publication of the results of their investigation into what happened and how they have identified those locations that may be affected. And as long as we see progress there, I think we're going to likely not pursue fines or enforcement.
Thanks, Zach. Other questions? You want to take that one, Zach, in the chat?
Yeah, I see that. Confirming locations impacted in Colorado Springs or Pueblo areas. I can't right now. So we do the ones we've confirmed have been Denver Metro. I mean, we've only gotten as far south with confirmation as Sheridan, which is a southern Denver suburb, up to Superior, which is a northern Denver suburb of sorts. So the area we have confirmed this at is relatively limited, but that's still a lot of stations in that area. We have not seen it yet in Colorado Springs or Pueblo, to my knowledge.
I have a question. As of right now, are we still at 19 gas stations or do we have more?
I can try to answer that. The list of stations that has been circulated around a bit, I believe, came from King Soopers, an affected retailer, and I think that is just their suspected locations. I think that's even been revised by them a little bit throughout the day as they've learned more. And so I'm not aware of any other lists from other retail groups yet. Certainly everybody's wanting that list, and I think that Sinclair is again this afternoon working with those retailers to be able to publish it. And so short answer, I think the number is greater than 19, but I don't think that's because that list is changing, since that was just the King Soopers ones.
Hi, Kirsten Roth with CBS Colorado. I just wanted to get some clarification. The complaint form that you were asking folks to fill out for state assistance, that was not any sort of monetary state assistance. What exactly
Correct.
would they be getting from filling out that form?
Good question. It would result in us likely going to the site if the timing is right and they haven't yet fixed the problem, taking a sample, confirming that that is the problem, looking at the documentation that accompanied the delivery. It's called a bill of lading, and it's just shipping documentation that says this fuel came from this supplier to this station. And we would review that as part of our investigation. And then we obviously could provide the results of that to the consumer who notified us. So, in most cases, it's an important step in order for the state to provide evidence, so to speak, that there was a problem. In this case, given the number of facilities likely involved, I don't think we are going to make it to everyone to confirm everyone before they replace the fuel within the next 24 to 36 hours. So I think our role will be maybe less important in that evidence side of things, but certainly we're up for it. We're out there right now getting them. I just don't think we'll make it to everyone to do that. But certainly, again, because this is so well documented and will be, especially as the investigation unfolds, I doubt there will be much resistance or questioning, provided that that fuel was purchased there and their bill of lading suggests it came from Sinclair where this originated. So we can certainly help any consumer make that argument. I just hope that it's easy in this case because it's so well understood what happened here.
And I will add that we did receive word that by 8:30 this morning, Sinclair had contacted all of the distributors, and that all of the distributors were prepared or at least aware of the issue and working on the process for receiving the complaints from the consumers.
Yeah, I had a quick question. I was curious if you guys could speak to the scope of this, if this has happened, before in the state, any lessons learned from that, and how we can ultimately prevent this from happening again in the future.
Right. Absolutely the ultimate question for us, without a doubt. I've worked here for 18 years and nothing like this certainly has happened at this scale. I can say that for sure. We do, and in fact, when we first heard about this yesterday morning, Thursday morning, we thought it was a localized, what we call a cross drop, where somebody brings a truck full of diesel to the gas station and puts it in the gasoline tank accidentally. That happens in Colorado maybe once or twice a year-ish. We figured that was it to begin with, but then when the calls started coming in from a variety of locations, that suggested it was a larger scale. This is, as far as I know, unprecedented in the many years I've worked here for sure. So most definitely, again, the important thing is to find out how to avoid this in the future. This doesn't benefit anybody. And so Sinclair's investigation should point to the root cause, and we will work with them to make sure that they take some steps to alleviate the possibility of that happening again. Whatever could have happened there needs to be changed. So,
Zach, in your mind, should Sinclair have to alert the public of all of the stations impacted by this? Is it their duty to tell people what locations were impacted? And does the state have any sort of regulatory authority to say you have to do it faster? Because here we
yeah,
are 48 hours after this, and we still don't have a
yeah,
list of the impacted
right.
location.
Right. There's nothing specifically in statutes or regulations that would make them publish such a list, but common sense would suggest that everyone thinks that's a good idea. And that's why we're working with them. And I think we will, as of a few minutes ago, they let us know that they are, I think, not to quote them, but ready to respond to the media. And so everybody should be hearing quite a bit more from them, I hope, here, not to speak for them, but that is their intent. And with that, we can certainly all help encourage them to provide that list as they have gotten it with their distributors and retailers.
They have responded. They did not provide the list.
Okay.
They did note their commitment to providing high quality fuel, which seems to
Yes.
be a commitment that may have been missed here.
Yeah, it certainly may not have been the case Wednesday, but I will say on their behalf, they're a major fuel supplier for the state and have decades of good compliance. So, things happen for sure. Unfortunately, this was a big thing that happened that affected a lot of people.
Do you happen to have a number of any other confirmations that you've made at, I know the River Point Sheridan Costco was the one on the list,
Yeah.
but do you have a number of other locations? You mentioned Sheridan.
The only one I've seen results yet, I'm not running the day-to-day, so to speak, or hour-to-hour at this point of our inspectors, but I've seen another note that we've confirmed it at a Costco in Superior. So the Sheridan Costco, Superior Costco, I believe, are the two that I've seen so far where we have actually taken samples and confirmed that's the case. That number should grow a bit during the day here, but again, at some point soon, the fuel will be taken out of the tanks and won't be there to sample anymore, and it'll be replaced with good fuel.
So just a few more things to add. A consumer that did purchase fuel within the timeframes that we outlined would have seen issues with engine performance by now, as quickly as driving away from the retailer to, very shortly thereafter. So it would have presented itself very close to the point of fueling, number one. If they've not yet reported it to the retailer, they certainly should. And the second thing, this is one of the core functions of the division's petroleum storage tank program, which is consumer protection. So anytime a consumer feels that they did not get what they paid for at the pump, whether quality or accuracy, they certainly should call that number on the sticker on every gas pump and report it to us. Also, we are eager to partner with the supplier on the investigation to determine the root cause, as Zach said, and help consumers with the remedies that they deserve to any damage that has been caused to their vehicles. Other questions? Okay. Well, we will certainly keep you all informed as we obtain more information on this investigation, and feel free to let us know if you have any follow-ups, and certainly appreciate your time today. Thanks, everyone. Take care.